welcome back to our channel. Today we're revving up for a nostalgic journey to 1981 as we explore the Cannonball Run, a hilarious action-packed comedy that took the thrill of the open road to a whole new level. But here's the thing. This movie isn't just about fast cars, daring stunts, and laughs that come a mile a minute. It's a cultural icon, a tribute to a legendary real-life race, and a showcase of Hollywood's star power in the early 80s. Why has this film become a cult classic, you ask? Well, it's not just the crazy car chases or the star-studded cast, though those are undeniably fun. It's the sheer audacity of its concept, taking a no-holds-barred cross-country race and turning it into an unforgettable mix of action, slapstick humor, and larger-than-life characters. There's an irresistible charm in how the movie combines chaos and camaraderie, creating a viewing experience that's both exhilarating and laugh-out-loud funny. But don't let the comedy fool you. There's so much more under the hood. The Cannonball Run is packed with behind-the-scenes stories, surprising trivia, and connections to real-life racing legends. It's a movie that's as much about the journey behind its creation as it is about the adrenaline-filled races on screen. So buckle up, movie fans, because in this video, we're about to take you through 20 fascinating facts you probably never knew about the Cannonball Run, from its real-life inspirations to the jaw-dropping stunts and everything in between. This is one ride you won't want to miss. Get ready to discover why this film is still roaring through pop culture decades later. At the heart of the Cannonball Run lies an incredible real-life inspiration, the legendary Cannonball Baker Sea to Shining Sea Memorial Trophy Dash. This wasn't just any race. It was a no-rules cross-country showdown that defied convention and celebrated the spirit of adventure. Conceived by automotive journalist and racing enthusiast Brock Yates, the race was born out of a love for pushing limits and a disdain for the restrictions imposed by speed limits and regulations. Yates wasn't content to merely dream up the event. He became its first victor in 1971, driving nearly 3,000 miles from New York to Los Angeles in an astonishing 40 hours and 51 minutes. Picture this. Yates and his three-man crew navigating highways and back roads in a Dodge van, maintaining an average speed of 70 miles per hour, all without the advanced GPS systems or modern tech we take for granted today. It was a feat of endurance, skill, and sheer determination that cemented Yates's place in the annals of racing history. What made this race so unique was its rebellious nature. There were no official checkpoints, no strict rules, just a start line, a finish line, and a shared understanding among participants. Reach the other coast as fast as humanly possible. Yates envisioned the event as a celebration of the American car culture, a bold statement against the rising tide of traffic laws and the loss of personal freedom on the open road. The race itself was named after Irwin Cannonball Baker, a legendary racer from the early 20th century, known for his cross-country exploits. Baker's name became synonymous with endurance and speed, completing over 140 coast-to-coast trips starting in 1914. By naming the race after him, Yates paid homage to a pioneer who embodied the same daring spirit that fueled this extraordinary event. The name Cannonball Run isn't just catchy, it carries with it a legacy of speed, endurance, and grit, all inspired by one man, Irwin Cannonball Baker. Brock Yates, the mastermind behind the real-life race in the film, chose to honor this legendary racer by naming the event after him, cementing Baker's place in the story of high-speed adventure. Cannonball Baker earned his nickname by blazing through cross-country trips long before the era of highways and modern engines. Starting in 1914, Baker completed an astonishing 140 coast-to-coast journeys, often setting speed records that defied the limitations of his time. One of Baker's most famous achievements was a 1915 journey from Los Angeles to New York in just under 12 days, a record that stunned the world and cemented his reputation as a pioneer of endurance racing. But his accomplishments didn't stop there. Over the years, he continued to push the boundaries of what was possible, breaking record after record and inspiring a generation of racers and dreamers. For Brock Yates, naming the Cannonball Baker Sea to Shining Sea Memorial Trophy Dash was a way to pay tribute to a man who embodied the same rebellious, thrill-seeking spirit that the race celebrated. Baker wasn't just a racer. He was a symbol of freedom and adventure, someone who saw the open road as more than a path. It was a challenge, an opportunity, and a way of life. By weaving Baker's legacy into the fabric of both the race and the film, Yates ensured that his story would live on. Every time someone watches the Cannonball Run, they're witnessing not just a comedy, but a nod to the indomitable spirit of a man who dared to dream big and drive fast. Baker's influence is the heart of the race, a reminder that the pursuit of speed and adventure is timeless. Long before the Cannonball Run roared into theaters in 1981, the allure of cross-country races had already captured the imaginations of filmmakers. Two notable movies, Cannonball and the Gumball Rally, both released in 1976, paved the way for this genre. These films brought the high-speed thrills of cross-country racing to the big screen, each with its own unique approach, ultimately influencing the creation of the Cannonball Run. Cannonball, directed by Paul Bartel, leaned heavily into the dramatic and action-packed aspects of racing. Its storyline was intense, focusing on the dangers, betrayals, and high stakes of an underground cross-country race. This film took a gritty approach, showcasing the darker side of such competitions with characters willing to do whatever it took to win. While Cannonball brought excitement to the genre, it lacked the lightheartedness that would later define the Cannonball Run. On the other hand, the Gumball Rally took a completely different route, embracing comedy and camaraderie among its eccentric cast of characters. Directed by Charles Bale, the film was a playful, tongue-in-cheek depiction of a similar coast-to-coast race. It featured outrageous vehicles, larger-than-life personalities, and absurd antics, creating a fun and entertaining atmosphere. This comedic tone resonated with audiences and would later serve as a blueprint for the humor and zaniness of the Cannonball Run. What makes the Cannonball Run stand out, though, is how it combined the best elements of its predecessors. It took the thrilling, high-stakes racing from Cannonball and infused it with the slapstick humor and quirky charm of the Gumball Rally. The result was a film that captured the adrenaline-fueled excitement of a race while keeping audiences laughing at the ridiculous scenarios and outrageous characters. These earlier films laid the foundation for what would become one of the most beloved car chase comedies of all time. Without Cannonball and the Gumball Rally, it's unlikely the Cannonball Run would have achieved the perfect balance of action and humor that turned it into a cult classic. By learning from and building upon these predecessors, the Cannonball Run elevated the genre, proving that sometimes the wildest rides come with the biggest laughs. Before it became the laugh-filled road trip we know today, the Cannonball Run was originally envisioned as a high-octane action thriller with a completely different tone. At the center of this serious take on cross-country racing was none other than Steve McQueen, the king of cool himself. Known for his iconic roles in films like Bullitt and Le Mans, McQueen was the perfect choice to embody the gritty, adrenaline-fueled nature of the film's original concept. The plan was to make the Cannonball Run a high-stakes drama, emphasizing intense racing sequences, raw emotions, and the grueling endurance required for such a race. The focus would have been on the competition's dangers and the racer's unrelenting drive to win at any cost. McQueen's involvement promised a grounded, no-nonsense portrayal that would have highlighted his natural charisma and unmatched ability to make action sequences unforgettable. However, tragedy struck when Steve McQueen passed away in 1980 after a battle with cancer. His untimely death left the production team at a crossroads, forcing them to reconsider their approach to the film. Enter Burt Reynolds, Hollywood's reigning superstar of the time, whose knack for comedy and charm on screen brought an entirely new flavor to the project. With Reynolds at the helm, the film shifted gears entirely, transforming from a serious action film into a fast-paced comedic romp. Instead of focusing on the darker, grittier side of racing, the movie embraced absurdity and humor, turning the characters into larger-than-life caricatures and the race itself into a playground for outrageous stunts and antics. Reynolds' ability to balance comedy and charm made him the perfect lead for this new direction, bringing an infectious energy that defined the movie's tone. Though the original vision for the Cannonball Run as a serious action film was never realized, this change in direction may have been a blessing in disguise. The comedic reimagining not only set the film apart from other racing movies of the time, but also allowed it to become a timeless cult classic. By leaning into its comedic potential and casting Reynolds, the filmmakers created a movie that resonated with audiences and brought laughter to a genre often dominated by intensity and drama. In the glittering world of Hollywood, few stars shined brighter in the late 1970s and early 1980s than Burt Reynolds. By the time the Cannonball Run came around, Reynolds was at the peak of his career, having cemented his status as a box office king with hits like Smokey and The Bandit and Deliverance. It was no surprise then that he commanded an eye-popping $5 million for his role as J.J. McClure, a groundbreaking figure that set a new standard for actor salaries in the film industry. But behind the scenes, Reynolds' enthusiasm for the project was far from what one might expect for such a lucrative deal. In later interviews, he candidly admitted that he regretted taking the role, not because of the money, but because his heart wasn't fully in it. He revealed that his decision to join the Cannonball Run was driven more by personal obligations and friendship than artistic ambition. Reynolds agreed to star in the movie largely because of his close relationship with director Hal Needham, a former stuntman and longtime collaborator. Needham had directed Reynolds in Smokey and The Bandit, another road movie that had become a massive hit. Feeling a sense of loyalty and trust, Reynolds accepted the role, even though he felt the script lacked substance. Additionally, the allure of a $5 million paycheck, then the highest ever paid to a single actor for a film, was too tempting to pass up. Looking back, Reynolds acknowledged that he took the part for all the wrong reasons. He later expressed disappointment in the final product, describing it as more of a paycheck gig than a passion project. Despite his personal misgivings, audiences fell in love with his portrayal of J.J. McClure, a smooth-talking, charismatic racer who embodied the film's light-hearted and irreverent spirit. Reynolds' involvement may have been bittersweet for him personally, but his star power undeniably played a critical role in the movie's enduring success. His charm, humor, and on-screen chemistry with the ensemble cast helped define the Cannonball Run as one of the most iconic car chase comedies of all time. While the $5 million paycheck might have been record-breaking, the impact of his performance is priceless in the hearts of fans who continue to enjoy the film decades later. The role of Fenderbaum in the Cannonball Run was meant to be a comedic powerhouse from the very beginning. Originally, the filmmakers envisioned the legendary comedian Don Rickles in the part a perfect fit for the film's over-the-top humor and chaotic energy. Known for his razor-sharp wit and unmatched ability to deliver punchlines with impeccable timing, Rickles would have brought a unique flavor to the character. However, for reasons that remain undisclosed, Rickles had to step away from the project, leaving the role unexpectedly vacant. Enter Sammy Davis Jr., a performer with an entirely different yet equally magnetic presence. As one of the most iconic members of the Rat Pack, Davis Jr. was already a household name, celebrated for his incredible talents as a singer, dancer, and actor. While he wasn't the filmmaker's first choice for the role, his addition to the cast brought a fresh dynamic and a layer of sophistication that fit perfectly within the film's eclectic ensemble. In the movie, Davis Jr. took on the role of Fenderbaum, one half of a duo pretending to be priests in the wild cross-country race. Paired with Dean Martin, another Rat Pack legend, Davis Jr. delivered a performance that was equal parts hilarious and charming. Their on-screen chemistry was undeniable, blending Martin's laid-back cool with Davis Jr.'s quick wit to create some of the film's most memorable moments. Despite stepping into the role under unusual circumstances, Davis Jr. made it entirely his own. He brought a unique blend of charisma and humor to Fenderbaum, giving the character a playful edge that resonated with audiences. His portrayal not only honored the comedic roots of the role, but also elevated it with his own distinctive style. The casting change turned out to be a stroke of serendipity. Davis Jr.'s involvement added an extra layer of star power to the already dazzling lineup, and his ability to adapt and shine in the role helped solidify the Cannonball Run as an enduring classic. While Rickles' original vision for the character will forever remain a what-if in Hollywood history, Sammy Davis Jr. ensured that Fenderbaum left an indelible mark on the hearts of fans. His performance was so well received that he reprised the role in the film's sequel, proving that sometimes unexpected changes can lead to unforgettable results. While the Cannonball Run is remembered for its zany humor and thrilling stunts, it also holds a sobering chapter in Hollywood history. Behind the scenes of the high-speed fun was a tragic accident that would change the course of stunt work safety forever. Stuntwoman Heidi von Beltz, a talented and promising performer, was involved in a catastrophic accident during the film's production. In one of the movie's stunts, von Beltz was a passenger in an Aston Martin that collided with a truck. Shockingly, the car lacked proper seatbelts, and the crash left her paralyzed, a devastating outcome that highlighted the dangers stunt performers face in their line of work. The incident sent shockwaves through the industry. Von Beltz's injuries led to a high-profile lawsuit against the filmmakers and producers, shining a harsh light on the lax safety protocols that were all too common at the time. Her case became a rallying cry for greater accountability and better protections for stunt performers, who often risk their lives to bring action sequences to the big screen. One of the most significant outcomes of this tragedy was the introduction of mandatory seatbelt requirements for stunt vehicles. This change was a direct response to the accident and aimed to ensure that no stunt performer would face unnecessary risks due to inadequate safety measures. Additionally, the Directors Guild of America implemented stricter regulations, including prohibiting directors from altering stunts on location without proper safety assessments. The accident serves as a stark reminder of the real-life dangers behind Hollywood's most exhilarating moments. For a film like The Cannonball Run, which thrived on pushing boundaries with its daring stunts, this tragic event underscored the importance of protecting the people who make the magic happen. Von Beltz's legacy, though born from heartbreak, is one of progress and advocacy, ensuring that future generations of stunt performers can pursue their craft with greater safety and dignity. While the Cannonball Run and its sequel cemented themselves as cult classics, the franchise's journey didn't end there, though many fans might wish it had. In 1989, Speed Zone was released, often referred to as Cannonball Run 3, despite its tenuous connection to the original films. Unfortunately, this unofficial third installment lacked the charm, humor, and spirit that made its predecessors so beloved. Unlike the first two films, Speed Zone barely tied itself to the Cannonball Run universe. Its only tangible link was the character Sheikh Abdul bin Falafel, reprised by Jamie Farr in a brief appearance. Beyond that, the film featured an entirely new cast, including notable names like John Candy, Brooke Shields, and Eugene Levy. While these stars were talented in their own right, they couldn't recreate the comedic magic of Burt Reynolds, Dom DeLuise, and the rest of the original ensemble. Critics and audiences alike were unimpressed. The film was a box office flop, failing to recoup its production costs and earning a reputation as a pale shadow of its predecessors. Its failure marked the end of the Cannonball Run franchise, leaving a blemish on an otherwise fondly remembered series. One of the standout performances in the Cannonball Run comes from Roger Moore, who takes a comedic turn as Seymour Goldfarb Jr., a man hilariously convinced he's James Bond. For audiences familiar with Moore's suave portrayal of the iconic spy, this tongue-in-cheek parody was a delightful surprise. Dressed impeccably and driving an Aston Martin reminiscent of Bond's legendary ride, Goldfarb's antics added a layer of playful self-awareness to the film. The brilliance of Moore's performance lay in his ability to walk a fine line between parody and homage. With his impeccable comic timing, he lampooned his own image as the unflappable secret agent while still exuding the charm and sophistication that made him a fan favorite in the Bond franchise. His character's over-the-top bravado and absurd belief that he's a real spy provided some of the movie's funniest moments. However, while fans loved the light-hearted spoof, the Bond producers were far less amused. They saw Moore's role as a potential dilution of the James Bond brand, which was carefully curated to maintain its allure and seriousness. Their dissatisfaction with Moore's comedic portrayal led to a significant decision. Future Bond actors were contractually forbidden from spoofing the character in other projects. This ban speaks to the immense cultural weight of the James Bond franchise, where even a comedic homage was seen as a risk to the character's image. Ironically, Moore's performance in the Cannonball Run demonstrated his versatility as an actor and his willingness to poke fun at himself, endearing him even further to audiences. Despite the disapproval from the Bond camp, Moore's contribution to the Cannonball Run remains a fan favorite. His playful parody not only showcased a different side of his talent, but also added an extra layer of humor and star power to the film. It's a testament to his enduring charisma that even in a comedic role, Moore managed to steal the show and leave audiences laughing long after the credits rolled. Jackie Chan's role in The Cannonball Run was more than just a cameo. It marked his official introduction to Hollywood and Western audiences. Already a massive star in Asia, Chan's unmatched martial arts skills and innovative action choreography had made him a household name in Hong Kong cinema. However, his debut in this film set the stage for his eventual rise as a global icon. In the Cannonball Run, Chan played a high-tech racer who utilized gadgets and martial arts to gain an edge in the chaotic cross-country competition. The character was a nod to Chan's signature style, blending action with comedy in a way that felt effortless and entertaining. However, there was one glaring issue that disappointed Chan deeply. His character was inaccurately portrayed as Japanese rather than Chinese. For Chan, who took immense pride in his Chinese heritage, this misrepresentation was a source of frustration. Despite this setback, Chan's performance left a strong impression on audiences. His natural charisma and thrilling fight scenes stood out in a film dominated by car chases and comedy. While the Cannonball Run didn't give him a leading role, it provided a crucial platform to showcase his talents to a new audience, paving the way for greater opportunities in Hollywood. Although the Cannonball Run wasn't the breakout role Chan might have hoped for, it played a pivotal role in expanding his global recognition. It introduced Western audiences to his unique brand of action comedy and opened the door for future collaborations in Hollywood. One of the most endearing elements of the Cannonball Run is its blooper-filled end credits. This playful addition, featuring outtakes of flubbed lines and stunt mishaps, brought a sense of camaraderie and authenticity to the film. For audiences, it was a reminder of the hard work, laughter, and occasional chaos that went into creating the movie. But for Jackie Chan, this idea sparked a revolution in how he presented his own work. The outtakes provided a behind-the-scenes glimpse into the filmmaking process, showcasing both the risks and humor involved. For Chan, this resonated deeply, as his own work often pushed the limits of physical performance and creativity. He realized that sharing these candid moments could not only entertain audiences but also highlight the effort and danger involved in executing his signature stunts. Chan began incorporating blooper reels into his movies, starting with Dragon Lord in 1982. These outtakes quickly became a hallmark of his films, providing a unique layer of entertainment that extended beyond the main storyline. Audiences were thrilled to see the dedication behind every kick, punch, and fall, and the bloopers often drew as many laughs as the scripted scenes. What made Chan's blooper tradition so special was its dual purpose. It celebrated the collaborative spirit of filmmaking while also humanizing the seemingly superhuman stunts. Fans gained a newfound appreciation for the risks Chan and his team took to create jaw-dropping action sequences, as well as the light-hearted moments that occurred when things didn't go as planned. Over time, these blooper reels became a signature feature of Chan's brand. They not only distinguished him from other action stars, but also strengthened his connection with audiences worldwide. The bloopers revealed a side of Chan that was both vulnerable and relatable, reinforcing his reputation as a humble and hard-working performer who wasn't afraid to laugh at himself. One of the most fascinating aspects of the Cannonball Run is how it draws directly from the wild, real-life antics of the Cannonball Baker Sea to Shining Sea Memorial Trophy Dash. Far from being purely fictional, many of the absurd strategies and schemes portrayed in the movie were inspired by actual tricks used by participants in the legendary cross-country race. This connection to reality gave the film a layer of comedic authenticity that resonated with audiences and made the chaos on screen even more entertaining. Another memorable scheme involves Sammy Davis Jr. and Dean Martin's characters, who dress as priests to evade suspicion during their mad dash across the country. This, too, was inspired by an actual team in the race who donned clerical attire, believing it would help them avoid speeding tickets. The absurdity of two men in cassocks tearing down the highway was a comedic goldmine, and the film played it up beautifully, combining slapstick humor with sharp dialogue. Even the team of women in the movie, clad in skin-tight jumpsuits and using their charm to talk their way out of trouble, was based on a real-life strategy. In the actual race, a group of female participants employed similar tactics to evade penalties and outwit law enforcement. Their clever use of feminine wiles became one of the many legendary stories that inspired the film's colorful characters. By incorporating these real-life strategies, the Cannonball Run added an extra layer of hilarity and relatability. The outrageous schemes weren't just figments of a screenwriter's imagination. They were rooted in the audacious anything-goes spirit of the real cannonball race. One of the delights of the Cannonball Run is its ability to surprise and amuse audiences with a star-studded cast of cameos. These brief but impactful appearances not only added an extra layer of fun to the movie, but also paid tribute to the film's racing roots and irreverent spirit. First up is Peter Fonda, best known for his role in Easy Rider, the quintessential counterculture biker film. Fonda's cameo as a Hell's Angel biker in the Cannonball Run was a playful nod to his iconic status. Seeing him back on two wheels in a completely different context added a sense of irony and nostalgia that fans of his earlier work couldn't help but appreciate. His brief but memorable scene was a clever homage to his legacy, bringing a touch of cinematic history to the chaotic comedy. Then there's director Hal Needham, a former stuntman with a deep understanding of action-packed filmmaking. Needham appeared as an ambulance EMT, seamlessly blending into the film's ensemble of quirky characters. While his role was small, it underscored his hands-on approach to the production. Needham's cameo was more than just a fun addition. It symbolized his commitment to the movie's chaotic and collaborative energy, showing that he was willing to dive into the action alongside his cast. While the Cannonball Run didn't exactly earn the love of critics, it didn't need to. Audiences spoke louder than any review, and their enthusiasm drove the film to an astonishing $160 million in global box office revenue. This monumental haul made it one of the highest-grossing comedies of 1981, proving that the film's blend of chaotic car chases, over-the-top humor, and a star-studded cast had struck a chord with moviegoers around the world. But perhaps what truly set the Cannonball Run apart was its rewatchability. This wasn't just a movie you saw once. It was the kind of film you told your friends about, went back to the theater to experience again, and later rewatched on VHS. While the Cannonball Run was a roaring success at the box office, it was met with a very different reception from critics. Many reviewers, including the renowned Roger Ebert, harshly criticized the film, with Ebert famously awarding it just half a star. He didn't hold back in his review, calling the movie an abdication of artistic responsibility at the lowest possible level of ambition. According to critics like him, the film didn't even try to reach basic standards of storytelling, let alone cinematic excellence. The main points of contention were its loose plot, reliance on slapstick humor, and a sense that the movie prioritized big-name cameos over cohesive storytelling. Critics accused it of being a star vehicle where the emphasis on celebrity appeal overshadowed the narrative. The film's chaotic energy, which audiences loved, was often dismissed as laziness by reviewers who expected more depth or innovation. Farrah Fawcett, who played Pamela, one of the racers, received a Razzie nomination for Worst Supporting Actress. Her role, which many felt was underdeveloped and overly reliant on her star power, became a point of controversy. Interestingly, Fawcett had also been nominated for the same award the year before, cementing her as a frequent target of Razzie criticism during this period. Despite these critiques, it's worth noting that the criticism and awards did little to tarnish the film's popularity with audiences. Fans didn't go to see the Cannonball Run for groundbreaking storytelling or character depth. They went for the outrageous antics, high-speed thrills, and the sheer joy of seeing their favorite stars let loose. Ironically, the very elements that critics disliked, its chaotic structure, over-the-top humor, and lack of seriousness, are what have helped the Cannonball Run endure as a cult classic. Its rejection of traditional cinematic norms allowed it to carve out a unique niche, appealing to those who appreciated its carefree, unapologetic nature. One of the most unexpected but fascinating legacies of the Cannonball Run lies far beyond the world of cinema. The film served as a major source of inspiration for Sega's legendary game designer Yu Suzuki, who created the iconic 1986 arcade game OutRun. This wildly popular game captured the exhilarating, free-spirited essence of the Cannonball Run, turning its high-speed cross-country race concept into an immersive gaming experience that would go on to define a generation of arcade racing games. In OutRun, players take the wheel of a sleek red Ferrari Testarossa, racing against the clock through picturesque landscapes. Much like the movie's chaotic open-road energy, the game emphasizes freedom and adventure rather than structured competition. Players aren't confined to rigid tracks. Instead, they navigate branching routes that allow them to choose their own path, a nod to the unpredictable, no-rules nature of the Cannonball race itself. Suzuki has credited the Cannonball Run as a key influence on the game's design, particularly its sense of unrestrained fun and the thrill of being behind the wheel of a fast car. The movie's themes of rebellion, exploration, and camaraderie resonated deeply with Suzuki, inspiring him to create a game that encapsulated the joy of the open road. Even the Ferrari featured in OutRun echoes the luxurious sports cars that populated the film, adding a touch of cinematic glamour to the gameplay. Beyond its mechanics, OutRun shares the film's playful, light-hearted spirit. Much like the Cannonball Run, the game isn't about intense rivalries or serious drama. It's about enjoying the ride. With its vibrant visuals, unforgettable soundtrack, and innovative gameplay, OutRun captured the same sense of escapism that made the movie a hit with audiences. The success of OutRun was monumental. It became one of the most beloved arcade games of the 1980s, praised for its groundbreaking graphics, immersive design, and player-centric approach. Its legacy, much like the Cannonball Run, has endured for decades, influencing countless racing games that followed. One of the more subtle yet delightful Easter eggs in the Cannonball Run comes from a brief but memorable appearance by Roy Tatum, Burt Reynolds' stand-in. Tatum played a highway patrol officer in a short scene that might seem unremarkable at first glance, until you notice his striking resemblance to Reynolds himself. Tatum's uncanny similarity to Reynolds wasn't just a coincidence. It was the very reason he served as Reynolds' stand-in during the production. His job was to step in for Reynolds during certain setups or rehearsals, a common practice in filmmaking to ensure that the lead actor can focus on more critical aspects of their performance. However, in this instance, the filmmakers decided to have a bit of fun with the resemblance by giving Tatum a small on-screen role. For those in the know, Tatum's cameo adds another layer of enjoyment to the film. It's one of those moments where the production team's sense of humor shines through, offering a small but meaningful wink to fans who recognize the connection. For viewers unaware of his role as Reynolds' stand-in, the scene still works perfectly as part of the film's light-hearted narrative. In a film bursting with fast cars and wild stunts, one vehicle stands out as a true star: the sleek red Ferrari 308 GTS, driven by Dean Martin and Sammy Davis Jr. in the Cannonball Run. What many fans might not know is that this iconic car wasn't just a prop. It was the personal vehicle of the film's director, Hal Needham. This detail not only adds an extra layer of authenticity to the movie, but also reveals a lot about Needham's hands-on approach to filmmaking. The Ferrari's inclusion in the movie wasn't just a stylistic choice. It embodied the luxury and excitement that defined the Cannonball Run itself. In the hands of Martin and Davis Jr., the car became a character in its own right, exuding a sense of charm, speed, and sophistication that perfectly matched their roles. Whether tearing down highways or narrowly evading law enforcement, the Ferrari added an undeniable cool factor to every scene it graced. For Needham, the decision to use his personal vehicle also underscored his dedication to authenticity. As someone deeply connected to the world of stunts and racing, he understood the importance of real cars and real action in creating a believable and exhilarating cinematic experience. The Ferrari wasn't just a flashy addition. It was a statement of commitment to the film's high-octane ethos. Interestingly, the car's involvement in the movie became a point of pride for fans and car enthusiasts alike. The Ferrari 308 GTS, already a symbol of automotive excellence, became even more iconic thanks to its prominent role in the Cannonball Run. Its appearance in the film cemented its place in pop culture, with many viewers associating the car with the film's spirit of adventure and mischief. For decades, fans of the Cannonball Run have wondered if the chaotic, action-packed comedy could be revived for modern audiences. Since 2016, there have been persistent whispers of a reboot, with Warner Brothers reportedly taking the lead in exploring the possibility. The idea of updating the legendary cross-country race for a new generation has intrigued filmmakers and fans alike, but despite the buzz, the project has remained stuck in development limbo. The proposed reboot has seen some notable names attached to it over the years. At one point, writer Ethan Cohen was reportedly involved, suggesting that the film could take on a sharp, witty edge while maintaining the humor that defined the original. Additionally, acclaimed director Doug Liman, known for his work on high-energy films like The Bourne Identity and Edge of Tomorrow, was rumored to helm the project. These names alone fueled excitement, as their involvement hinted at a fresh, modern take on the Cannonball race while honoring its legacy. However, bringing the Cannonball Run into the modern era presents unique challenges. The original film thrived on its larger-than-life characters, irreverent humor, and a sense of rebellion that resonated with its 1980s audience. Recreating that magic in today's cinematic landscape, where humor, cultural sensibilities, and storytelling preferences have evolved, is no small feat. Another potential hurdle lies in the film's reliance on practical stunts and high-speed car chases, elements that defined its appeal. In an age where CGI often takes precedence over real action sequences, fans might worry that a reboot could lose the authenticity and visceral thrill that made the original so memorable. Despite these challenges, the concept of a Cannonball Run reboot remains enticing. The idea of a no-rules, coast-to-coast race filled with comedic hijinks and a diverse cast of eccentric characters feels timeless, offering endless possibilities for creative reinterpretation. Imagine today's comedic heavyweights, action stars, and even social media influencers taking on the roles of daring racers, all while tackling modern-day obstacles like traffic apps, electric vehicles, and viral internet pranks. And there you have it, movie lovers. We hope you enjoyed uncovering these 20 fascinating facts about the Cannonball Run. From its real-life inspiration to the wild behind-the-scenes stories, this iconic film is so much more than just a car chase comedy. It's a piece of cinematic history. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe to our channel, and share your favorite Cannonball Run moments in the comments below. Stay tuned for more deep dives into the movies you love, and as always, thanks for watching.